Go. Welcome, everybody. I'm back. It's the Back Channel podcast for everyday man and woman. We have a follow-up to last week's podcast, which is the Between Ladies and Gents series that says, hey, are black men really checking for black women? Last week, you'll notice, this panel, you'll notice that we have Lacresia, who was on last week's panel, but we also have Denise.
Hello.
Denise. And of course, you know I'm about to do this, Tonja. Just for everybody that everybody want to know, she can't stand Tonja. So it's just Tonja. So every blue moon, I'll be like, Tonja. And if you know her, she'll be like, don't play. Anyway, so the purpose of this was I think I really enjoyed that conversation last week, but I enjoyed the comments, but I also recognize that I think this is a good way for people, by people I mean ladies, to kind of actually have the floor, and it won't be Hatfields versus McCoys with a guy on here kind of talking at each other versus, so this is a good chance for us fellas to listen, to say, hey, hear your frustrations, hear your concerns and things that you may, things that you want us to actually listen to and comprehend. So ladies, please articulate exactly what you want, what you think about this subject. Because, just full disclosure, next week I'm gonna try to have a panel of dudes to go ahead and articulate. So so that way we already know y'all don't listen anyway. So I'm just saying that all right. I was just kind of joking. But no, seriously, I'm gonna try to get a panel with some dudes, and we'll not only talk about what you respond to some of the things you guys said, but just kind of say, hey, this is what we want. So starters, let's talk about the pod last week. So, okay, Tonja, I'll start with you. What did you think about the pod last week?
It was interesting. What was the gentleman's name that was on the pod?
James. I call him Bub.
Okay. I disagree with some of the stuff James said. Because for me, he was implying that why don't Black women just date outside of their race, without understanding that not as many white men or, men that aren't Black, they don't check for us like that. Like Black men check for non-Black women. So you can't just say, well, if he's not checking for you, then find somebody else, because there's not that many other people. So, we're dealing with Black men not checking for us. Then the Black men that are incarcerated, other races aren't checking for us. So who's left for the Black woman? And if we prefer to be with a Black man. Not saying I have, but it's not as easy as it is for a Black man to date non-Black women.
Okay. Denise, what did you think of the pod?
I thought it was some interesting facts also. And then being in San Antonio, that's all I hear. There's no Black men here. I'm in all these different groups, and people are like, where are the Black men? And they're like, well, if you came to San Antonio, you're in the wrong place. You should have got it when you went back home, or you got to go to Houston, Dallas, all of this stuff, because they're just dating Hispanic girls. They don't want to deal with us because our attitude or just whatever, but they're not looking for us. I've been here for such and such a long time, and I'm still single. And I'm asking myself this. So I'm like, right here, where that subject is, where are the Black men?
Okay, but particularly about the pod.
The pod and just the going past us. I'm one that if I see somebody, I'm gonna go up and speak to them if I'm interested. So I'm not that passive.
Yeah, we know.
I'm not that passive. But I'm also like not one, like she said, incarcerated or something that's gonna lower my standards just to date a Black man or just to get that happy medium and stuff. So I'd rather be by myself, I think, because I've tried to date outside my race, but it's just not the same. They don't have the same level of understanding when we go through stuff.
Okay. All right. Risha, you was on the pod last week. So why don't you go ahead and tell us, okay, I mean, what did you think, especially after being on it, how it came off, and you had more time to digest what was said and what you said. So what did you think about that? I mean,
So first I watched it back and my face was saying a lot of what I was thinking. So I was glad, but like there was one comment in particular, and I thought about it and thought about it, and it's like, Denise and Tanya both said we shouldn't have to lower what we seek in a mate because we feel like Black men aren't checking for us. And he said something in particular: Black women should get off the pedestal. Basically saying date who wants you and not who you just reaching too high. That did something to me. So I felt like that was kind of a, and it may not have been meant as kind of like a jab or kind of like a, but when it came down to it, it was almost like, okay, so y'all know we're not checking for you, so y'all need to make another plan. Versus, it's okay for y'all to want who birthed you, fed you, raised you, protects you. That's acceptable. What's not acceptable is for us to say, oh, you're not checking for me. You don't want me. You want to date outside your race. So I guess I gotta settle for somebody else. And I don't think that's a pedestal. A pedestal is that you're revered, or you're untouchable. Not that we think so highly of ourselves that we want what was put here for us.
yeah, I remember that comment, and instantly I knew when he said it, and I was like, ooh, like, and to be fair, I mean, uh, Bubs is a good dude, but I mean, good people get smoked too. So I mean, like, it's just whatever it is. I mean, so I'm not, because he's not here, I'm not really sure what he meant by that, but I know that when he said it, I was like, like nah, that's probably not it. But so okay, Tanya, you said something at the beginning that you said that other races aren't checking for y'all like that, or it's not as easy to date outside of um outside of our race for Black women as it is for Black men. And I don't think anybody would refute that second part. But it's really interesting now, because when you talk about other races aren't checking for y'all, well, it's really interesting because maybe it's just what I see, like different commercials. You see different commercials in different different geographical areas. But it's so funny, and I was saying this to Denise. I don't know if you and I had this conversation, but I was talking to somebody, and so many of the commercials that I see when they have Black people in it, it's a Black woman and a white dude. And so, but really, there was never a time, this is why I find this thing really ironic. There's never really a time where you saw a rush, or a kind of like a little fad where they were showing black dudes with white women on these commercials. I'm not saying you never seen them, because we all know about the Cheerios commercial. Because when they had that, they had the black dude with the white wife and the mixed girl, and these people lost their mind over Cheerios. And but there's never really been a rash of like, hey, black dude with his white wife or whatnot, because we all know white people are going to be the center of that. So we all know that, whether it's going to be a white woman or white man. But I find that interesting. That's not saying I don't believe what you're saying. I was just saying the irony of what you're saying is kind of different from this push of putting black women in front of the camera. What I looked at it is like to make you guys seem more desirable to other people. But because it's hard, like up here anyway, to find a commercial where, matter of fact, there was a Hyundai commercial and I tweeted out, I was like, oh, there's a whole black family in this commercial. How did that get through? Somebody getting fired. You know what I mean? So you say that you guys don't have, people aren't checking for you guys that way. And I say all that to say, you don't think that's, and I'm not promoting this, I'm just saying, you don't think that's kind of changing though?
I'd say it's changed, but it's not as prevalent as that commercial would make it seem, nor as easy, I would say. But it has changed over the years. It's a little bit better, but it's still not a plethora of men.
Would you guys agree? Would you guys agree with that?
I think that we see the white man and the black woman in the commercials because it's socially acceptable. I think that a commercial with a black man and a white woman will cause a bigger response from people that are uncomfortable with it. I don't think it has anything to do with who's checking for who, at least in that particular situation. I think it's just what people will be comfortable with, just, society-wise.
Right.
But I still do, I think the same, that it's not as easy for me to decide to date outside my race and just go out and because it was almost like the idea is that, okay, so if black men aren't checking for you, just date somebody else and we can just walk outside the door to Walmart and the guy in the next aisle will be like on the movies where you look and there's music and all of a sudden he's in love with you. But it don't work like that. Not with us.
Denise?
I think it's it has a lot to do with location also.
That was my next point.
That's the thing. It has a lot to do with location, especially like when you said there was a black commercial up there, and I'm like, after being up in Alaska for 3.5 years and asking, where just the black people, period.
Like, yeah, I mean, you was in San Antonio talking about where the black people at. I'm like, girl, like, okay.
I know.
Okay, come on up here.
And you blended right in, but oh, I didn't mean to let that slip out.
You know what?
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let that slide.
But one of my friends here, she's on dating apps and all of this stuff, and the only people that she said that have tried to talk to her are Hispanic or white guys, and she's black and she's been out with a couple, but she doesn't mind dating outside her race. She says she'll just date whoever she dates, but it's just, I guess, location too. But everywhere we've been together, she seems to attract opposites, not a lot of black guys. So I think it's location and personality and where you set yourself up at also.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, because I think geography has a lot to do with that, because not disclosing where y'all, I mean, Tonja and Lacresia at, but I mean, what's the nickname for that area? I mean, well, no, the Redneck Riviera. I mean, like it's a beach coastal town, but I mean,
Lower Alabama.
yeah,
Exactly.
and old, like if you think about it, people still tripping over the Confederate flag.
Mhm.
If they still worried about a piece of fabric like that, old habits, old thinking, they die slow. And so so I think that has a lot to do with some of it. But enough of that. So what is it that, I mean, what am, I mean, not me personally, but what are Black men, what are we missing? What are we not understanding about y'all? I mean, not necessarily the plight and whatever, but what aren't we doing, like, where, I mean, we're kind of leaving y'all in the lurch. And I know that dating non-Black women is the easy like answer to that. But where are we missing? Where are we not understanding y'all? I mean, aside from basic man versus woman, because this just seems to be something that, like, I'm just watching and listening to, that just seems to be more and more prevalent, but it's almost expected. And Christian, you said something last week that I was kind of saddened by that, because you was like, you almost had to say it's expected. So what, there's a good chance to tell us guys, what is it that you, I mean, collectively, but also individually, that we're not getting, that we're kind of leaving you. Christian, I'll let you start, that we're not connecting.
I was talking to a guy in the gym the other day, and we were talking about the same thing. And I told him, he said, well, a lot of times he felt Black women were too independent. And I think that, at least for me, I'm tired of being the boss. And I think that that's what a lot of people think. You get in a relationship with a Black woman, she been doing it by herself. She's going to want to be the boss and want to tell you how to spend your money and want to tell you how to do that, instead of being a partner, an equal partner. I think that's what I would like to say, is that we do it, but we would rather share in those responsibilities. We probably, we do it and we do it well. And I think that sometimes some men think, she got it, she doing it, she paying her bills, she doing it, she doing that. We're gonna bump heads because I want to be the boss. But we want partners. And I don't think that that's understood.
Okay. All right. Denise?
I know we talked about this before in another podcast, when I said it's easier to submit, and I wouldn't have a problem submitting to my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting on you. You go ahead.
Because I've heard that I was independent. Let me open the door. Let me be a man. And I have no problem with that. But be a man.
Mm-hmm.
Be that man that you want to be. And I have no problem submitting. It's not that you say, I hear the story all the time. My mama was a single parent. She had to work these 2 jobs. She did this and she did that, and she made it through this and all of that stuff. But when you look at the same qualities in us, it's a bad thing. But how is it a bad thing when you love this woman to death, but you can't love me the same way you love her? She's went through the same struggles, and we're, have overcame. And now we're trying to be that partner. We're trying to submit. It's easy to submit if you're doing the right thing. And yeah, I'm a king, I'm a queen, so I'm gonna treat you like a king. So yeah, put me on that pedestal, I'm gonna put you on that pedestal.
Man, you like a distant, like 15th cousin. You ain't no queen. Like a what is a you a duchess? You're a duchess of Detroit, something like that.
I see it. I mean, when you say we've seen all these marriages that lasted 30, 40, 50 years, it took work. And it wasn't a cop-out saying, oh, well, it's just easier to go and deal with this person because they're going to listen or they're going to do this and that. Because submitting and submission, 2 different things in how you do it.
Okay, well.
But that's not,
Well, no. But what I want you to do is define, because I want to make sure that whoever's listening to, and also the people on here, but what do you mean by submitting? Like, because when I know this, when women hear that word, and it's, man, you, one ear is already closed. As soon as you hear what? This Negro thing, no, no. Tell me, what do you mean by submission?
Like, I'm not the maid of the house. Like, it's a partnership, but the husband is the head of the house. So I'm going to submit, and we might have discussions, and I might not agree with everything. But if he's the head of the house, we're going to have a conversation. And then I expect him to make the final decision, but taking into what I said into account. As long as he's doing the right thing, whether I disagree or not.
What's the right thing?
And that's the decision that he comes to, not with listening to my input.
Okay.
And thinking it over, not just it's still his way or the no way. And I'm just submitting. I don't have a voice. I can't voice my concerns. It's yes. Okay. I'm not a yes person. It's we're gonna sit, we're gonna discuss. I'm gonna tell you my input. I'm gonna say the pros and the cons. We'll come up with this. And then at the end of the day, you're the head of the house and you're gonna make the final decision.
Okay. Tonja, your thoughts?
We all have a lot of thoughts. I think we're all three independent women because we have heard a lot of the same things from men. So, and then I think that sometimes men take our standards, or what we, the standards that we expect, as attitude. And it's not attitude, it's just, I'm not going to have a man just to have a man.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And as far as submitting, it's, where are you leading me? Because, you know, for me, I have my own. So I'm not checking for yours. And if you want me to submit and you be the head, where are we going? I need to know where we're going, because I'm not just going to go anywhere. I'm not going backwards. So where are you leading me? If you want to be the alpha, I need to know where we're going. And that's not, to me, that's not attitude. But I've had male friends go, you're going to have difficulty because you have this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, like Denise said, I'm like, I might be by myself then, because I'm not just going to have a man just to have one.
All right.
And I think Black men think that's attitude, but it's not. It's just standards. How come we can't have standards? If you won't have standards for the woman, how come the woman can't have standards for you?
Okay, it's a good point. But I know a lot of, I mean, y'all kind of said some similar things, but particularly like, okay, Tonja and Denise, y'all said, you know, about submission. You don't have a problem with that as long as you're doing the right thing and where you lead me. So I respect that. I understand that. But I don't want to say playing devil's advocate, because the devil got enough people out here doing his bidding. So I'll say this. As a guy, that sounds like you kind of speaking out of both sides of your mouth. Yes, I don't have a problem submitting as long as you're doing the right thing. Cool, I got you. I'm leading you. Da, 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 as long as it's the right thing. And a lot of times, I'm just saying, my experience, the right thing is what y'all want. Versus, I mean, I'm just saying, guys sometimes get that, like, hey, as long as you're doing the right thing. It's like, basically what I'm saying is, you say we having a problem, like, hey, Christian, you said, I'm tired of making decisions. You know, hey, lead, fine. But then there's a tendency when we try to lead, we got some backseat drivers. I'm just saying, like, help us. Like, are we wrong in that? Are we wrong in that kind of thing? Like, hey, if you're going to, you know, say you're going to let me be a man, that's part of it. Like, I got this. So what I'm saying is, I think sometimes, like, can y'all, I mean, how do y'all feel about taking that more of a hands-off approach? because sometimes you think that your hand's off, but you got fingerprints all over it. So how do y'all, I mean, do y'all ever think about that?
If it's a partnership,
Lacretia,
Yeah.
I lost your audio.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I keep freezing, I'm sorry. But we can still have an opinion, right? Like it's not as if we say we'll submit and we just shut up.
No,
We
no,
still
no, no.
can-
No, I understand that. I don't think any reasonable guy, especially one that cares about you and loves you, is wanting that.
Mhm.
But it's kind of like this. Have you worked for somebody, or I know this, you ever have let's say a parent say, hey, I need you to do something, you go and do it, and they just go and redo it anyway because they like, I could have just done it myself. That's not really that much different than what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
But it's almost kind of like, it's not necessarily like, oh, empower him to do, but at the same time, you're gonna let him lead. Sometimes you gotta, I mean, obviously, if you see something that's gonna be catastrophic, I like to think that the dude you with can see that too. But sometimes the decision that he makes isn't necessarily, it didn't pan out. And I know y'all not like, oh, jumping all on him, but sometimes you got to bite that on it, take it on the chops, because if for him to grow or be that man that you guys are talking about, you can't, if he got his hands on the wheel, we don't need the third hand. So sometimes I think women don't, and particularly independent women who have been making the decisions all the time, it's hard to let go, wouldn't you say?
A little bit.
It is a little bit.
So, and I think that's one of the things where when you hear some black men talking about that with women, I think that's some of the thing there's a trust. I don't blame you, because at the same time, what I think doesn't get talked about is we men. This is what's really funny about this. You have to like, you have to trust him to lead you where you need to go, where y'all are going to go, not leading you. I mean, but you guys really thought about, at the same time, it's almost expected that we trust you guys, almost, like, hey, we trust you with whatever you're going to do. We trust you to have our best interests along with, yours at heart. And that's not an easy thing either, even though we've been conditioned to do that because our moms, that's our thing. Like, we've been conditioned to trust women because, hey, heck, we trust our mom for the most part. So I think one of those things I think we make disconnect or bump heads is like, think there's a trust issue, and sometimes it feels one-sided. Like, y'all don't trust us, but it's just an assumption that, oh, of course you trust me. I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. But it ain't that easy, because 10 and 2, I got somebody up here. I got somebody down here. Like, hold on, where did third hand come from? But that being said, so I want to say this right, because I don't want to make I don't want to be the subject of follow-up pod and y'all clowning me in the comments. But why do you think it is? This is it's really vague, but why has it gotten to this point? Do you think, because we're all from Generation X, We're all Gen X. So how has it gotten to this point? Because 20s, I didn't really feel this kind of pressure. I mean, granted, it's where you got your headspace, but why has it gotten to this point? How has it gotten here? Denise.
I think when you're younger, you're just more free and do stuff and don't think about stuff that much. But when you get older and you look back and then you realize and you just see stuff and it's like, I'm not doing that anymore. It's not acceptable anymore.
Well,
And
there's
we're not gonna-
there's 20-year-olds right now going through this.
Yeah.
I mean, because
It's a new generation.
well, because what inspired this podcast in the first time was probably a young girl in her 20s, right, Cretia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, how has it gotten to this? Because we can say this generation, but this generation didn't wake up, on a Tuesday and was like, yo, here's an issue. This has come from us, if you really think about it. This is
I
really
think it's always been there,
okay.
especially in my area. It's always been an issue here. And I think as a collective group, Black women have mostly felt it. It's just more prevalent now because you have different streams of social media. Just like police violence, we've always felt it, but now there's phones and everything, so everybody else is seeing what we've been talking about amongst ourselves the whole time. So it's not new, it's just reaches more people now.
It's just broadcasting. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's new to me. I think for me, because I haven't lived in the States in so long, so it's different for me.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's different for me to see because being overseas, you see it all the time. And at different locations I was at, it was like, oh, they love Black women, they love Black women. So coming to the States, I would say, has been different and an adjustment.
Okay. Well, yeah. I think Tonja has a great point. I think it must have it's been there, but it's just now it's it's televised now. It's it's just more like, widely accepted through technology and globalization and all that good stuff. So, Krish, what do you think?
I think the same thing. I think that it's probably always been, but now everybody's seeing it, It's
Yeah, you froze on us again.
While she's freezing, I think a funny question, like you're saying, more prevalent and then the social media and stuff. I think sometimes when me and my girlfriends get together and say
Yes.
there's a actor or athlete or something, and the first thing we ask is, what color is his wife? What color is his girlfriend? Or did you see if they're on what just happened? I think the WNBA thing, whatever, they was picking people and they were like, did you see who was sitting beside him and all of that stuff? So it's like being made a issue. Like, oh, he's with a white girl, like he's dating this and all of that stuff. Or you look at all these people and yeah, it's just out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, since you said that, glad you said that, because we shift here because we know that you guys aren't saying, oh, you're against interracial relationships and marriages. I know that. I just wanted to actually
not at all. My family is a rainbow. Not at all.
well, that makes a lot of sense, and we'll just
Don't go there.
and we'll leave that at that.
Yes.
But no, I'm just saying, it's funny that you say that, you know, like you see the athlete, oh, what he, you know, like, what does his wife look like? Oh, she a white girl, all this good stuff, or a non-black woman at that. I'm just saying, like, y'all energy be looking a little different in the light. Cause I ain't, you know, I'm not saying y'all in particular, but I ain't heard Serena get no backlash.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Who?
Yes, she did.
Who? I ain't hear from you. Not you, meaning not you, but this, you know what I'm saying? I ain't hear that. I ain't hear that from y'all. I heard it from some dudes who ain't had no shot at Serena.
Well, as y'all say, maybe they didn't shoot their shot. Like
Yeah.
Right.
Man, all they would have been doing was just wasting ammo. I mean,
well, see, now you're being like that girl.
See?
no, hold on. Okay,
Yep.
here's what I'm saying, and this is where I don't have a problem. Okay, we all know Kevin Samuels. We all know who he is. I don't care how y'all feel. I ain't asking how you feel about it. We all know him, and he talks about high value men and blah blah blah. So I look at Serena as a high value woman, and with that comes a responsibility. A responsibility not to say that because I don't earn enough, I can't love her. But I'm just saying the guys who had no shot because they're not moving in the same circle. Like, you're not going to meet Serena. So you have there's no chance for you to shoot your shot. So that's what I'm saying. But back to what I was saying. I mean, y'all consistency, y'all energy looking kind of funny in the light when it came to, like, you know, like Serena. I'm just saying.
They having problems too. No, I'm just playing.
But anyway, no.
I'm just playing. I you know what? Honestly, at the end of the day, who you fall in love with, you fall in love with, as long as they treat you with respect.
I mean,
but first you got to be out there dating that person, and that's the thing. We're not getting those dates.
I mean,
going somewhere else.
That's the right thing to say. I get you. But,
Hey Brian, you know the twins, T and Tamara, right? They're Black, right? And they did an interview, and the twin that married the Black guy was consoling the twin that married the white guy because she said that she was getting hate mail from Black women. So Black women still have the same energy. She was told that she was the less Black or the white twin because she married a white guy. So I think that Black women do still have that same energy when they see a sister with a white guy. Some Black women, at least, you know, like, come on.
Yeah. Okay. I think some do for some people. I'm just saying, some do for some people. I mean, I won't be up here and acting like cats like bruhs didn't clown Tiger Woods, but ain't nobody said nothing about Michael Jordan. See what I'm saying? Like, I ain't heard nobody speak on the fact that he let Juanita, you know, he split from Juanita and he's with this other one. I'm saying that in my circle, guys, I'm just saying, I ain't heard the same kind of whatever that you got with Tiger Woods. But also, too, that's probably a bad comparison because Mike ain't never got out there talking about I'm Blasian, whatever. I remember when I heard him say that, somebody should have fired his PR person right there on the spot. Because you know he didn't come up with that, like, on the spot. Like, they prepped that. Whoever the PR person should have been fired on the spot. But I digress. I'm just saying, like, it just seems to be with some people, it's okay. Y'all kind of be like, oh yeah, girl. I mean, hey, we can pretend I mean, let's do this. Are we doing the one drop rule? I'm just asking because I'm about to hit y'all with something. Just let me know.
Hit us.
Well, we don't know how many, or if Serena could have gone after a black male and then got rebuffed. And
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that
don't know.
she didn't try, because I mean, she was dating Common, Drake. Yeah, and you know, they probably, you know, they wasn't acting right. I'm just be honest with you. Male entertainers of any race, you making millions, probably. I mean, I'm just be honest with you. They're probably gonna cheat. I'm just like, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying you marry an entertainer, or especially one of those top tier entertainer. I mean, this dude make $50,000 a year cheating. What you think a dude that got 50 million in the bank gonna do?
Right.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying all men cheat. I'm just saying I think that's kind of in the job description of some of like these multi-millionaire people. It's kind of in a job description. But I say that. What I was going to hit you with, if we do the one drop rule, Meghan Markle. We had a bunch of energy for, oh, she's a princess, a Prince Charming. Now we mad at the whole country of England. Now we hate England. I mean, I didn't like England because they had bad food, but now we're mad at England, even though we all knew that old money was likely racist money. But I don't remember y'all talking about, that's what she get. Oh, how could she marry that white dude? That's what I'm saying. Looking at that $100 in the light, and it's looking kind of counterfeit. So I say that only to say that if, I mean, you have to, I mean, if we're going to say this is, you know, we're talking about loyalty, because I'll never, ever, ever question as far as like, you know, Black women's loyalty to Black families, you know, versus Black men, even though I think our staying at, you know, straying away is grossly exaggerated. But I'm just saying, like, in order for that to happen, like, you know, if we're gonna all, you know, hey, we're gonna get together and check for each other, that energy, and like Denise said, I was joking about it. Like, true enough, you find love wherever you find it. I'm cool with that. My only thing is, like, if you find love with a white dude, fine. Just don't diss me because you found him. Don't dog me out because you found him. And likewise, I've heard, I got a friend, I think his name, I won't say his name, but he was talking, you know, we had been drinking and he was talking, you know, it was some dudes was hanging around, some white dudes, cool cats. And he said, oh man, I ain't know, man. I ain't never dating another Black girl again because of yada, yada, yada. And I was sitting there like, I mean, number one, it's stupid. Two, you doing this in front of mixed company. And that's like, and I got at him like, dude, don't you ever, like ever, 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 ever. I don't care if you do believe that, but you don't ever do that in front of a mixed company. Because all that is doing is just going to like solidify whatever stereotype they already got, you know? But so I know I mentioned Kevin Samuels so what do you think about Kevin Samuels and some of the points that he makes when he's talking about, I'm not even going to get into high value men stuff, but where he's talking about the issues that we're having with Black men and Black women, I'm not going to say he throws it all on Black women, but he talks about the Black women's accountability, their role in accountability. What do you guys think about that? I will start with Tonja.
Well, I don't follow him that much,
Mm-mm.
but I do want to touch on something you said about Meghan Markle and Serena, though. And it's just my opinion. I think Black women don't get as much pushback when they date outside their race. It's because we don't, in my opinion, dog Black men in the process. And I think Black men tend to dog Black women as justification on why they will not date Black women. We'll just move in silence without putting our brothers down, in my opinion. But you see a lot of Black men, when they choose not to date Black women, they have to just talk about us so bad.
Like they have something to justify by choosing a non-Black woman. You know,
Right.
like they have to justify why.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. That I think it happens far more often with bros, because like I just gave you a story, and I could call him up today and talk about that, and he'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because it was kind of like it was in my apartment before we were all about to go out. And like he didn't, it wasn't like one of those we was about to fight or nothing like that. But I was just like, no. Mm-mm. And I was like, nah. And I told him right in it was really kind of funny, because I told him right in front of like the white dudes. And I was like, man, you don't ever talk about that. Like they wasn't there. And they was just kind of like, dang, bro. Like, they were kind of like, I ain't never seen you like that. But I was like, oh no, we cool. But like this is like family business, man. Like just cause we cool. You ever see you talk to your brothers or your sisters? Like people at work ain't never seen you talk. You don't talk to people at work. You do your family. So of course they're gonna be shocked how you are with that. But anyway, Denise. So Kevin Samuels, you ever watch him?
I don't follow him either.
But let me guess, you've seen little clips of him, correct?
Yes, and I think even though you say he doesn't blame it on the women and it's about holding the women accountable, he blames it on the women, because I'm like, who holds the men accountable? Is
Well, yeah, but you know who holds the men accountable? like other men. Yeah. Yeah. Because here's the thing. And I'll say this when it comes to that. Like there's a lot of things as guys we won't speak on.
Mm-hmm.
We won't speak on, like we won't sit up there and we ain't gonna it's so funny because guys, we act, there's this misnomer or this misrepresentation, like guys won't tell on the dudes. But guys talk more than women. Guys talk far more than women. I know dudes right now hating on me, but yeah, men, because y'all all know, because y'all all got friends, male friends that have been told y'all stuff, because y'all ask, well, what does this mean? Number one, you think I'm lying? Lacresia, am I lying?
Yeah. No, you're not.
Thank you, because you already know what who are already talking about and thinking about. Tonja. Yeah.
There might be some truth in that.
Yeah, okay. So that being said, my point is who holds men account? Men, because the thing about it is y'all ask us stuff, and you ask your real close guy friends, not your average guy, but your real close guy friend. He gonna tell you. But here's the thing. A lot of times you do it anyway.
Kevin Samuels' delivery just sucks. I immediately just check out when he starts talking.
I understand. And that's why I said he addresses this thing, what's this bumping of heads. He addresses it in he takes his, the accountability thing. I'm not saying he is right in the things that he says. Don't get me started on. I'm not saying he's right. I'm just telling you, this is the angle that he's taking.
Mm.
And when you say, well, who's holding the men accountable? Other men. The stuff that men do with y'all, they won't ever do with another. They won't ever do with another, like to another man. Like meaning, like not in a romantic sense, but just some of the sly, underhanded stuff. No, dudes is like, no, you mess over my sister. Like, no, that's in like the movies when you talking about, hey, you know, that's your wife, that's between y'all. You put your hand on my sister, it ain't between y'all no more. It ain't. I'm not saying it has to get to that extreme, but it's not. You're just not gonna do that. Now, but it gets back to the point was, guys, we talk and we tell y'all, that dude ain't it. That dude ain't it. And the quickest way to push a girl to a dude is to tell her he ain't it.
Y'all do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We can listen, Tonja Denise, how many guy friends have y'all had that have come to y'all about females and come to y'all like, listen, she not the one.
Right.
But
Right.
it take like 10 years for them to y'all do the same thing.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But what I'm saying is, like that guy's already waist deep. I'm saying we could tell y'all, you can see it like, oh, what's up with your boy? Nah, that ain't it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, I'm just saying, why you say that? Nah, he just, because it's my boy. I don't want to sit up here and tell you that, like, yo, he didn't cheated on every girl that he been with, and he just, you know, his finances ain't right, you know, all this. We telling you that you don't really want to do that. Oh, okay, all right. And then what y'all do? Any chance y'all get to run into this dude? I'm not saying now as we're older. I'm just saying, you know, any chance y'all get, oh, about to have barbecue. Oh, cool, yeah, I'm gonna be there. Knowing you want to ask, is Ron over there? Ron gonna be there? Because he got this mystique. And if you tell a lady to stay away from this dude because, yo, this cat is just out there, y'all be asking like, oh, is he violent? Like, no, nothing like that. He just, oh. And we all know that, man. But no, common sense, nobody wants somebody that nobody else wants. And if he can get a lot of ladies, I'm not saying all y'all just like, oh, you know, I'm just, because he can get a lot of girls, I'm gonna get at him or whatever. But I'm just saying it adds a little bit of allure to him. And man, you pique a lady's interest, man. You just got to find out. You just got to find that lesson out for yourself. I'm just saying, men hold other men accountable. It's sometimes y'all ladies don't hold your girls, knowing she ain't. I say it. Knowing she ain't shit. Knowing it.
How do you know? But how do you know? Just like we're not hearing y'all conversations, you ain't hearing ours.
Yeah. Oh,
you don't know.
Okay. Oh, so am I wrong? Like,
no,
am I wrong? I'm. So you, I mean, aside from your, okay, so girls that you know, like, you just like, he'll find out, or did you kind of warn them, your guy friends?
Maybe because, you know, most of my close friends are guys. I definitely would say no. Mm-mm. Let me show you the text message she sent me last week. She not the one. I would.
Man.
If we're close enough to, yeah, I would.
I would too. And yeah. Like, she crazy.
Right.
Right.
Keisha, you and I should have been friends a long time ago, because you could have saved me.
You know I would.
You could have saved me. Like, I just know this. You're like, hold on.
You
It's-
probably wouldn't have listened.
No, not at all.
All right, Latanya. You just keep up over there being fly, Latanya.
Keep it up.
Anyway, but again, Kevin Samuels were like, I understand the delivery and some of the things that he said, like, because I was just watching him with Joe Budden, the Joe Budden podcast there, and this time was one of the first times where even like I was like, where I couldn't, like, the delivery had me like, ooh, like bro, like the content was one thing, but then I was like, whew. Then he had this other dude on there that was kind of like trying to be. It's really funny when you get somebody on there that is, well, I shouldn't say expert, but somebody who's, you know, this guest that's in their field, and then you have these other people kind of enamored by him, trying to get all of a sudden to get real smart, and like now they know ladies like the back of their hand. You like, bruh, ain't nobody came to see you, Otis. We came to hear this dude, you know. So, all right. So I guess last thing I want to let you guys kind of ad lib on is to what. Let's go back to the pot. And listening, and you told me how you guys felt about, you know, some of the things that he said, but were you surprised that he was? And I don't even like asking this, but I felt like kind of, dude, were you surprised that he was married to a non-Black woman? Based on some of the things that he said. Appreciate it.
I don't, because when the way that he was speaking, you ever heard like somebody say, you deny something so much that you trying to make yourself believe something? And during a lot of the conversation, it was, I'm not saying that I married this woman because of this, but when I tried to date a Black woman, this is what happened. Or this Black woman wouldn't date me because, so it didn't surprise me because the way he kept recounting like his history of dating and what happened and what he experienced, to me it was almost like, you know, those experiences said, okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and choose outside my race, when that's what the whole conversation was. That's not what made me choose outside my race. I just chose who held me down. But to listen to him speak, it was this group of women constantly showed me I'm not for them. So let me choose a different group of women. Had nothing to do with his appearance or anything, but it had everything to do with the way he was telling his experiences.
Okay. Tanya.
I wouldn't say I was indifferent. The race of his wife didn't matter to me. I guess it was more the content. But you know, based on his experience with Black women, I feel that's why he chose who he chose. But that's his preference, and that probably happens for a lot of people too. But it didn't alter any of what he said for me.
Okay. Denise?
I think it's justification. He tried to use justification, all his experiences, because you have you have an experience every day with a Black woman, with your mom or with your other family members. And so if something doesn't go your way, and I know it's different from dating, you can't pick and choose your family. And they're gonna stay Black. So then you're gonna bring somebody out. So just say, this is who I wanted to date, not the justification and the justification and the justification. Because you have the experience every day, whether good or bad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. And to be fair, I don't think Bub did a really good job of articulating what he was saying. So like when we do this from the guys version, I'm definitely gonna ask him about that, because I mean, got him on tape stealing boxes, so we need to understand, like, hey, like, fair shot, because we did a follow up here just to see, what what he said was actually what he was trying to actually articulate. And then, all right, I want to get one last thing. If you have a chance, I mean, clearly you're speaking for your individual self, but I mean, but also at the same time, you know how this works, Black Woman Collective. If you had to get two things across to Black men, what would those two things be? I purposely did not let you guys know this question, because I think you would have gave me like, you find love wherever you can find love. I didn't want that one. See, I didn't want that one. I wanted honest. Like, if there were two things, or three, I don't care how many, at least one. If there's anything that you could get across to Black men, like to help us understand you and understand kind of like what you're going through, where you're coming from. What would they be? I'm gonna start with you, Denise. I'm gonna give y'all like 11 seconds. 11. That's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I think that to get to know me, or to be understanding, like I said, that I'm a product of a Black environment just like them. And so I was raised by a Black mom. I'm a reflection. And so when they look at me, they should look at me as a reflection of how they treat their mom, how they should want to treat me, and how they should respect me, and I'll give them the same respect in return. And I don't think the problems would be there, the angry Black female or the independent Black woman and all of this stuff.
Okay. Tonja.
Oh gosh.
Oh, and by the way, nobody can use it's just like, remember when you use Thanksgiving with the family and everybody had to do a Bible verse or whatever, and then somebody took your Jesus wept and you mad because now you gotta go. So we ain't go Jesus wept here. So all right, Tonja.
Oh gosh. He said, well, Denise said a lot that I can't use. I think they need to listen more, like listen to what we're saying. Because I think sometimes men are solvers. So they're trying to solve things before they even listen to what we are trying to say and take our feelings into account. Because although there are a lot of strong Black women, we're also vulnerable Black women. And sometimes we just need them to listen and just, be there.
Okay. Good point. I just want to say, I think that listening is important, but I want to counter with, I think y'all definitely need to work on communication, ladies. I'm just going to leave that there. I think y'all need to work on communication, because one of the biggest myths are women are good communicators. No, you guys just talk a lot.
Maybe you're not listening.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. And all right, Miss Cretia, fix your face. I saw what you did.
Look, because they said everything. I think that, like, when you said collective, that's exactly it. Collective. I think.
Yeah.
You gonna be mad because your audio just dipped on you again. Because I want to hear this. So
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you got to do. Press a button, do something.
Can you hear me? Look, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I'm frozen. Something's going on. It's storming here, but they said pretty much it. We want to be heard. We're a product of our environment. With this strong Black woman isn't just something that just came about. This strength came from experiences, and talk to us, get to know what those experiences were, and understand that again, it's not that we want to walk around, us making sure that that we're independent, or we want to.
Okay. Well, you froze one, but I had to let you get that out, and I didn't want to. But yeah, I get it. I think she was basically saying, she was kind of echoing a lot of what you guys said, and those are actually really, really good things. And I like the listening portion. Denise, I love the fact that you said that. Strong point is, I think as a guy, I mean, admittedly, you forget, like you just kind of forget the mother aspect of it. And it's so funny, when you mention that, because you don't want to ever think, and especially if you've had any decent relationship with your mother, you don't want to ever think of anyone treating her in the manner that, and the manner that others, that you have these issues with women sometimes. So, your behavior. So, yeah. And so these are excellent points, man. I really appreciate y'all doing this, because I know that, I don't know, it's just something that has always been, I shouldn't say always, but like over the last few years, I really just noticed kind of this trend, and you just, not necessarily anger within Black women, but it was just kind of this thing where when you hear something enough and you don't see it, it's easy to kind of dismiss it. But then when you know the people who are expressing these things, and you know them not to be someone that's just talking, you got to listen. And I just kind of noticed that voice you hear, like, Black women don't have a voice. And then I was watching something one time, and then this I don't even know what it was, but it was a lady. She got on there and she said, "When's the last time you actually listened to a woman?" And I was like, man, every day at work, but no, but then what she was saying was like, when did you actually kind of like listen to someone where you weren't going to counter with what you needed back, just listening? And so that's why I kind of came up with this series between ladies and gents, because so often enough, I don't believe we listen and talk with each other enough. We kind of talk at each other, and then you throw our culture into it, where you guys, Black women, have been battle tested. And so I understand it's not easy to relinquish control. And so thank you guys for coming on and doing this. Any parting shots? Anybody want to say anything before we leave? Denise?
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
Okay. I like your hair.
Thank you.
Like, yeah, Nook. Tonja, would you like to say anything?
Yeah.
You don't want to say anything, Latanya?
I want to say something.
Oh man, my messenger box gonna be lit. I can see. Lacresia, real quick before your audio go.
I know, right? Just thank you. I had fun.
And you had enough of thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Hey, thank you guys for watching. This has been the Back Channel podcast for your everyday person, everyday man and woman. And we're out.
We're out.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.